Farming grants. Some say they're free money, some people say they're a trap. So should you take them? Are they a bad deal? Let's break it down.
Before we dive in, let's clear something up. This video is about grants, not subsidies. Grants are one-time funds awarded for specific projects, while subsidies are ongoing payments that prop up industries. I don't agree with subsidies, and that's not what we're covering here. Instead, we're talking about grants, real money that small businesses, including farms, can apply for and use to grow without long-term strings attached.
First of all, we need to talk about what are farming grants. So farming grants are essentially money that is granted to you from either state, local, or federal government, and it's applied to whatever that grant is designed for, in our case, farming. There are a lot of farming grants out there through soil and water. There's fencing grants, there's water grants. Through the USDA or NRCS, there's EQIP grants. There are grants with them to improve your fencing. There are grants with them for water, for high tunnels. And typically, these are agricultural related, structure related things, projects you want to do on your farm. Now, in my opinion, and it's my context, obviously we can disagree, and that's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. But our farm, we view grants as my tax money that I paid that I am getting back. I view it as very similar to your end of year taxes. We have to do taxes every year. Sometimes you get money back, sometimes you have to pay. But I don't know a single person, farmer, business person, anybody that tries to not get the most money they can get back in a year. When you look at your W-2 paycheck, that money comes out before you ever see it. And at the end of the year, if you can get some of that money back, great. It's not to say that we don't need taxes. Obviously, roads, schools, police, fire. There are things that our tax money goes to that are very important. But there's also a lot of things that our tax money goes to that is not important. Whether you apply that to these grants or not, that's up to you. But it doesn't change the fact that the money is still being taken out of your paycheck. I tend to think of farming grants somewhat like Social Security. We pay into Social Security for most of our life. And then hopefully at the end, we're going to get a payout on that. And that payout may be, if we don't live as long, it may be a whole lot less than what we paid in. But if we live a while, we may get a whole lot more than what we paid in. Fact is, we paid into that. We're entitled to that. The fact is, we expect that money when we hit a certain age because we have paid into that system. I look at grants the same way. You have paid, your tax money has been taken from you. You didn't voluntarily give it. You have to pay that tax money. And at the end of the year, we try to get money back on taxes. This is just another route to try to get some of your tax money back and have your tax money go to something that actually benefits you.
Real quick, we have a newsletter, the Sunday Solopreneur. This comes out every Sunday about 10 a.m. I talk about how to market your products on your farm, how to use social media and websites to grow your farm. I also talk about farming, raising cattle, chickens, pigs. We go through it all, and it's about building your farm business. Sign up now, and you also get a free PDF on how to use ChatGPT to write your social media, to write your newsletters, and to help write product descriptions for your products. This is free download for signing up for the newsletter. One newsletter every 1 to 2 weeks, no spam, I promise. Check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value in learning to grow your farm or homestead, and it's free. All right, back to the video.
There are some farmers that depend on these grants for their business to run. And in my opinion, that's not a good business model. If you're expecting grants every year, subsidies, to get your business to run, to make a profit, to pay the bills, that is a bad business model. That is a business model that you're setting yourself up for failure in that case. The grants I'm talking about, or say to build a high tunnel on your farm. Say you want fencing and water and you need to keep cows out. You're starting a business. Every business has startup costs, whether you're a bakery, a dentist office, any small business has costs, and you have to plan for those costs. Getting a grant for some of these things, again, is just getting some of your tax money back that you can apply to these things. But I think that if your business depends on this to start up or to survive or to function, you really need to look at your business model. I don't think that's the point of these grants. Your business should rely on you being financially responsible, buying things that you absolutely need, and ensuring that the things you are buying are giving you a return. Meaning, if I'm buying processing equipment for pasture poultry, I need to be sure that one, I'm getting the pasture poultry at a price, I'm going to be able to afford the feed, and that then I'm going to be able to sell that product and make not only my money back, but a profit that makes it worth me doing all this. So all that's just to say that if you can get a grant to help your farm, that's one thing. If you're looking for grants to support your farm or to be a successful farm, that's another, and I think you need to reassess that plan. So now let's talk about the purpose of these grants. And I specifically want to focus on, is your farm taking a grant, or would you consider a grant to help your farm, or are you using these grants to sustain your farm? Smart farmers use grants as a tool, not a lifeline. If your business model depends on grants in order to function, That's a flawed business model, and in my opinion, doomed for failure. Why would some farms need a grant? Well, if you're starting out, it definitely helps. Like any business, there's going to be startup costs, whether you're doing a bakery, whether you're opening a dentist office, there's startup costs to any business that you do, and grants can help with that. If you're expanding, that's another reason you may want to look at some grants. Again, this is your tax money that you've paid in. Why not use some of that tax money that you have paid to help you start a business or expand a business? The whole point I'm talking about here is if you're going to take grants, be strategic with them. Definitely don't build your farm around them. Use them to help to supplement the successful business model that you've already planned out. Some of the catches with grants is one, you have to use the money in a certain way. These are determined by whoever you're borrowing the money from, whether it's a federal grant, a state grant, a local grant. There are typically some farming practices that you have to do for these grants, and there are typically some long-term commitments you have to maintain when you get these grants. That said, does that mean the government owns you? In my opinion, no. And I should backtrack to that. Yes, the government does own you, but not in the fact that you took a grant. When you applied for a farm, you had to go through a government agency to get that. Wherever your farm is at, when you bought that property, you're paying personal property taxes on that. If you're building any barns, structures, a house, you have to get permits for that. The money that you're paying for all that stuff with has already been taxed. That money came out before you ever saw it. My point is, taking a grant doesn't automatically invite government in. They've already been there. Now, I can't talk about grants without talking about what a lot of farmers are already experiencing, at least per the news, is that they have applied for a lot of these grants and now they're getting rescinded. They're getting taken away. I haven't met any farmers personally that have dealt with this, but it does seem to be all over the news. It's something you have to consider. If you're going to go for a grant, again, that's why you don't make your business depend on these grants. You just use it as a supplement. If you could get it, great. If not, you carry on as you normally would, growing your business and figuring out ways to be profitable. Now, I've seen many reasons for a lot of these grants getting cut. I won't get into the why because honestly, I don't believe we know. I don't believe anyone's going to actually tell us. I believe you're going to hear from many different sources based on their opinions, and again, take that with a grain of salt. Point is though, if it's happening, it's something you need to be aware of. So if you're considering a grant, again, it's not a lifeline for your farm. Your business shouldn't depend on it, but you should look at it similar to your end of year tax return. If you get money back, great. You can use that money to apply to projects. And while we can say that, well, it's still a handout or no other business gets these grants, there's tons of grants out there that small businesses get if they look for them and apply for them. Some are privately funded, some are federally and state funded. Point is, if you pay taxes, you should take advantage of the programs that tax money should be going to. Again, that's roads, schools, teachers, but that's also grants like this. That's our philosophy. That's how we approach it on this farm. My goal is to make this farm as profitable as I can, doing it in legal ways and doing it in ways that I am maximizing the return on the money that I'm putting out. Part of the money I put out is what I pay in taxes. Involuntarily, I have to pay that money, and I'm going to get the best return I can on that money. And a big part of that is through government grants. So, should you take a farming grant? That's the big question. I think what you have to ask yourself is, does that grant align with your long-term strategy of whatever you're getting it for in your farm? Are you okay with the conditions that come along with that grant? And in this political climate, are you okay with possibly putting that money up and then not getting that grant? Can your business survive that if it happens? Again, I want to see small farms successful. That is my whole point of this channel. We're sharing what we do, what we've done right, what we've done wrong, and hopefully conveying what some of the challenges are that a small farm faces. If you're going to start a small farm, some of the things you might encounter. Grants and stuff for your farm can be a big boost, and it's something I hope everyone considers. Again, I know sometimes I'm not going to try to get into politics because I just find that's a argument that no one's going to win. But I will say that I think we all, in all points of our life, need to assess our beliefs, especially those beliefs we hold closest. Sometimes those are the ones we don't question, and in doing that, we hurt ourselves. And I think that should apply to every facet in your life. Assess, reassess, assess, reassess. It's no different than your business. If something's working, great. Why is it working? And then try to duplicate that or replicate that or expand that. If something's not working, why is it not working? And then try to remove that, but also look at other areas where you can remove that. Again, for our farm, in my opinion, I see grants as a way to get my tax dollars back that I've already paid. I don't see it as a way for my farm to survive. I don't see it as a way as part of my business model to sustain my farm. It's just a way to get my tax dollars back and apply it to something I'm trying to grow. If that makes sense for your farm, use that strategically, but never build your farm around it. All right, so let me know. Have you ever applied for a farm grant? If you did it help? Did it not work? Did you regret it for any reason? I want to hear your thoughts on this. And in the next video I got come up, I'm going to be talking about taxes. Not like this, but specifically how we deal with taxes on the farm and just some experiences. I'm not a tax professional. I'm going to just say that now. This is just how we approach taxes on our farm based on what I have learned doing this for 9 years. And hopefully there'll be something in there to help you. So that'll be on the next one. But let me know down below. Are you for grants? Are you against grants? Have you taken a grant? If you did, how did it go? If you didn't, why not? And we'll catch you in the next one.